Picture this scenario. You've just landed in Germany.
Oh, man, I know that feeling.
Right. Like maybe you're flying into Munich for, I don't know, this critical high-stakes business meeting.
Right.
Or you just touched down in Berlin to kick off a 2-week vacation.
Mm-hmm.
You are jet-lagged. You're dragging your luggage out to the curb, and you do what is essentially muscle memory at this point, right?
Yeah, you pull out your phone.
Exactly. You pull out your phone to grab a ride. But the app you use seamlessly every single day back home.
Yeah.
It might actually be the most inefficient, overpriced choice you could make on that specific curb.
Oh, absolutely.
You might be staring at a map with 0 available cars or looking at a fare that completely ruins your travel budget.
Yeah, it's the realization that our digital habits aren't universally applicable is always a bit jarring.
Right.
We've been conditioned, by the tech industry to assume that a smartphone provides this borderless experience.
Yeah.
But urban mobility, it remains fiercely, fundamentally local. The regulations, the infrastructure, and the dominant players, they change the exact moment you cross a border.
Which is the core reason we are doing a deep dive into this specific topic today.
Yeah.
We have our hands on a comprehensive 2026 guide dedicated entirely to navigating Germany's highly competitive rideshare and taxi app market.
It's a great document.
It really is. And our mission for this deep dive is to decode this landscape so you know definitively which app to tap for your specific travel needs.
Exactly.
We want to save you time, optimize your spending, and just remove the friction from your transit experience.
And the stakes here, they go far beyond just a simple travel tip for tourists.
Yeah.
To understand the scale, we have to look at the broader economic context.
Right.
Based on data from Global Market Insights, in 2024, Germany didn't just participate in the Western European ride-sharing market.
They dominated it. Yep.
They completely dominated it. We are analyzing an industry that generated $3.74 billion in revenue in a single year.
Wow, $3.74 billion.
Yeah. And that figure isn't just, fare collection.
Right.
That represents the monetization of daily human movement.
Oh, I like that phrasing.
Yeah, it represents massive behavioral shifts in how millions of people commute, travel, and spend their disposable income.
That $3.74 billion figure, it indicates a bloodbath for screen time.
Oh, yeah.
And consumer loyalty. And the market is effectively split into 3 distinct factions, right? We've got the multinational heavyweights, the agile challengers, and the traditional old guard who have aggressively digitized their operations.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's unpack this. Starting with the absolute titans of the German streets.
Yeah.
The heavyweights dominating the major urban centers.
Yeah, so when analyzing the urban core...
Like Berlin or Munich.
Right, places like Hamburg, Berlin, or Frankfurt, the ecosystem is effectively a duopoly.
Okay.
But one where the 2 main players operate with entirely different economic and operational philosophies.
Yeah. So the reigning champion locally is freenow. According to the source material, this is widely recognized as Germany's #1 taxi and rideshare platform.
Yeah.
Headquartered in Hamburg and led by CEO Thomas Zimmermann, their operational footprint is massive.
It's huge.
They're active in over 180 cities across 9 European markets.
Right.
But the most crucial detail is how they classify their own product.
Yes.
They actively reject the label of a rideshare app or taxi app. They call themselves a multi-mobility platform. It's like the Swiss Army knife of transit.
And that terminology, it's a calculated piece of corporate strategy.
Oh, for sure.
They are aiming for what we call behavioral capture.
Behavioral capture.
Yeah. freenow operates almost like an operating system for your city.
Interesting.
Just like iOS or Android doesn't care if you open an email client or a web browser.
As long as you stay on the device.
Exactly. freenow doesn't care which mode of transport you use, as long as they own the interface.
I mean, you open the app and you can book a traditional taxi.
Right.
But also a private hire vehicle, a car rental, e-scooters, e-bikes.
E-mopeds.
Yeah, e-mopeds, and even access public transport integrations. An entire transit ecosystem consolidated onto one screen.
And the mechanism behind this is revenue diversification combined with high-frequency engagement.
Right.
If an app only offers premium airport transfers, you might open it twice a month.
Sure.
But if it also offers the e-scooter, you take 3 blocks to grab lunch.
Right.
And the car rental you use for a weekend getaway.
You're opening it every day.
Exactly. They're suddenly capturing data and transaction fees from your daily micro movements. They become indispensable.
Which explains the massive industry shift the guide highlights.
Right, 2025.
Yeah, in 2025, freenow is acquired by the American giant Lyft. Lyft is effectively buying that operating system model to deploy a unified multi-mobility network across Europe and North America.
Huge move.
But wait, I have to challenge the actual viability of this multi-mobility approach.
Right, let's hear it.
Historically, when tech platforms try to become the everything app, they stretch their logistics back end to the breaking point.
That's true.
I mean, managing the software dispatch of independent taxi drivers is totally different from managing the physical depreciation, charging, and maintenance of thousands of e-scooters scattered across the city.
Oh, absolutely.
Doesn't freenow risk failing at its core product by taking on all this hardware overhead?
Yeah.
I mean, the source itself notes that freenow's fares can actually be higher than competitors during peak hours.
Yeah, the logistical strain you were pointing out is the exact vulnerability of the multi-mobility model.
Right.
Managing physical depreciating assets like scooters is highly capital intensive.
Super expensive.
Which is precisely why their peak hour fares often reflect a premium.
Ah, I see.
The consumer is basically subsidizing the maintenance of that vast ecosystem.
Right, paying for the scooters with their taxi fare.
Exactly. However, Lyft's bet with the 2025 acquisition is that the sheer scale of the network outweighs the inefficiency. During a transit strike or a sudden rainstorm, that massive, varied fleet guarantees a user will find some way home.
So you're never stranded.
Right. They are selling ultimate availability, even if it comes at a premium price point.
That makes sense. And that brings us directly to the other heavyweight, which takes a very different operational approach.
Uber.
The immediate appeal for our American listeners is the seamless crossover.
Oh, it's so nice.
It really is. Your U.S. Uber account, complete with your saved payment methods and rider rating, works perfectly in Germany. It's incredibly convenient for getting out of major train stations or navigating business districts without setting up a new profile.
Yeah, absolutely.
But the underlying mechanics of how Uber dispatches cars in Germany are fundamentally altered by local regulations.
Completely different. The peer-to-peer model that built Uber in the United States.
Where anyone can drive.
Right, where anyone with a qualifying personal car can log on and start driving. That does not exist in Germany. The regulatory framework requires Uber to partner exclusively with licensed drivers and professional transport companies.
So no side hustlers?
No. Every driver on the platform must possess a specific passenger transport license.
Which fundamentally shifts Uber from a decentralized gig economy platform into essentially a B2B fleet management software.
Exactly.
They aren't onboarding college students looking for side hustle cash on a Friday night.
Right.
They are aggregating professional drivers who already meet strict municipal standards.
And this completely changes their unit economics and their value proposition.
How so?
Well, because they are legally bound to use professional fleets, Uber in Germany guarantees a baseline of regulatory compliance and driver vetting, which appeals heavily to corporate travelers. It creates a highly standardized experience.
Okay, I see that.
The trade-off, however, is that this professional barrier to entry severely limits their ability to scale supply quickly.
Wow.
When demand spikes, they can't just lure thousands of casual drivers onto the road with surge bonuses.
Because they don't have the licenses.
Right. Supply is capped by the number of licensed professionals available, which exacerbates surge pricing for the consumer.
Ouch. And that shared vulnerability, price volatility during peak demand, and a hyper-focus on major urban centers, that's the exact wedge that allows the challengers to steal market share.
Absolutely.
We have these two premium immediate dispatch giants.
Yeah.
But the source material highlights two alternative platforms that are winning by targeting completely different consumer priorities.
Predictability and long-distance travel.
Yes.
You know, the innovation happening in this challenger tier is arguably more fascinating than the heavyweight battle.
Really?
Yeah, because they are fundamentally changing the timeline of how people purchase mobility.
Okay, let's look at Bolt then. They debuted with a heavy rollout across cities like Nuremberg, Stuttgart, Potsdam, as well as the major hubs.
Right.
They frame themselves as Europe's first mobility super app. But their absolute competitive advantage is this feature that allows users to schedule a ride up to 90 days in advance.
And what's fascinating here is how Bolt is utilizing time as a competitive moat.
Explain that.
By offering a 90-day booking window, they are shifting the battleground away from the chaotic, high-stress environment of on-demand dispatch.
Right, the 5 p.m. rush hour panic.
Exactly. And they're targeting the planner demographic.
Okay.
Think about the psychology of locking in a 5 a.m. airport transfer 3 months before a flight.
Oh, that's such a relief.
It is. The consumer trades the uncertainty of a morning of booking for guaranteed peace of mind.
But how does the back end actually fulfill that?
Big question.
I mean, if the gig economy is inherently transient, how does Bolt guarantee a driver will actually show up 90 days from now?
It comes down to algorithmic forecasting and guaranteed liquidity.
Okay.
By capturing those future bookings, Bolt builds a predictable map of future demand.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, they can offer these scheduled rides to drivers as guaranteed anchors for their shifts.
Which stabilizes driver earning.
Precisely. Because Bolt has this guaranteed future cash flow and higher driver utilization rates, they can afford to undercut Uber and freenow on base fares.
Wow.
They are effectively trading immediate high-margin surge rides for reliable lower-margin volume.
They also offer car sharing in select markets to offset the financial burden of personal car ownership.
Right.
But while Bolt attacks the timeline of urban travel, BlaBlaCar completely bypasses the city limits.
Oh, yeah. Totally different model.
This app focuses intensely on intercity long-haul travel.
Right. BlaBlaCar's operational model diverges entirely from the on-demand taxi framework.
It's basically highly organized digital carpooling.
Exactly. It relies on a digitized model of route matching for drivers who are already undertaking a journey.
So a driver heading from Hamburg to Munich lists the empty seats in their personal vehicle on the app, and passengers heading the same direction pay a fee to fill those seats.
Right.
But the guide details how they have evolved far beyond casual peer-to-peer matching.
Oh, massive evolution.
They now operate the BlaBlaCar bus network, integrating over 6,000 professional transport providers across 21 countries.
That's huge.
And they've even introduced weekly and monthly subscription plans for frequent riders, allowing them to bypass per-ride service fees.
And the introduction of a subscription model is a massive structural innovation.
Why is that?
By charging a recurring fee, BlaBlaCar decouples its revenue from pure transaction volume. They secure a steady influx of capital regardless of whether the user travels twice a week or twice a month.
Right.
It incentivizes the user to consolidate all their intercity travel onto one platform to maximize the value of their subscription.
But consider the actual user experience for a moment.
Okay.
BlaBlaCar inherently offers less control over exact pickup and drop-off points. You are at the mercy of the driver's route.
True.
And Bolt's car-sharing features are highly geographically restricted. Aren't these challengers asking the consumer to sacrifice a massive amount of convenience just to save a few euros? If a mobility app isn't convenient, hasn't it lost its primary utility?
That assumes they are competing with taxis, which is a false equivalency.
How so?
BlaBlaCar and Bolt extended features are not attempting to replace the black car that takes a corporate executive to a dinner reservation.
Okay, who are they competing with then?
They're competing with institutional infrastructure. BlaBlaCar is competing directly with Deutsche Bahn.
The German National Railway.
Exactly. For a budget-conscious backpacker or a regional commuter, the flexibility of a peer-to-peer network or a discounted bus network often outpaces the rigid schedules and high costs of traditional train travel.
That makes a lot of sense.
And similarly, Bolt's car sharing competes with the immense financial and logistical burden of insuring, parking, and maintaining a personal vehicle in a dense, heavily regulated city like Stuttgart.
Right.
They are selling freedom from ownership, not just a ride.
Which perfectly sets up the biggest structural gap in this entire market.
Oh yeah, the blind spot.
We've mapped out the urban operating systems, the corporate fleets, the 90-day planners, and the intercity networks. But what happens when you travel 40 kilometers outside of Berlin?
It gets quiet.
Very quiet. What happens when you are in a small rural Bavarian town at 2 a.m., you open Uber or Bolt, and the digital map is a completely empty void?
Nothing but crickets.
The tech platforms rely on high density to function, leaving massive geographic blind spots. This is where the traditional taxi industry has aggressively digitized to strike back.
Yeah, the narrative that legacy industries simply roll over and die when Silicon Valley arrives is largely a myth.
Totally.
The traditional taxi associations in Germany leverage their greatest asset, regulatory moats, and guaranteed rural supply.
The prime example in our source is Taxi Deutschland. This application is hyper-focused. It connects passengers strictly with licensed taxis nationwide.
Right.
There are no venture capital subsidized gig workers. The platform operates completely within the bounds of local municipal regulations.
And the underlying mechanism of their survival is aggregating fragmented local fleets into a unified digital interface.
Ah, it's smart.
Yeah, a small-town taxi operator cannot afford to build a proprietary dispatch app with real-time GPS tracking.
Too expensive.
Way too expensive. But by joining the Taxi Deutschland consortium, they gain access to a digital storefront that rivals the major tech platforms in usability.
While maintaining their localized monopoly on supply.
Exactly.
And the consumer benefit is profound when the environment turns hostile.
Oh, for sure.
In smaller towns, the ride-hailing startups simply do not have the driver density to function. Taxi Deutschland thrives there.
Yeah.
Furthermore, because they operate on municipal meters, the concept of algorithmic surge pricing does not exist.
That is a huge selling point.
Right. A ride at midnight during a torrential downpour costs exactly the same as a ride at noon on a sunny Tuesday. Then you look at the macro version of this strategy, Taxi EU.
Right. Massive scale.
This initiative was founded by German taxi associations and has expanded to cover over 160 cities across more than 11 European countries.
Wow.
Pooling a staggering network of 160,000 licensed taxis.
And to remain competitive, Taxi EU had to modernize the friction points of traditional cab rides.
Like payment and estimates.
Exactly. They integrated upfront fare estimations into the digital booking process and built payment gateways that seamlessly accept Apple Pay, PayPal, and credit cards.
So it feels like a modern app.
Yeah, they essentially wrapped a legacy regulatory framework in a modern tech stack.
But the flip side of that, though, is the feature set.
True.
Taxi Deutschland and Taxi EU are incredibly single-purpose. You cannot book an e-bike through them.
Yeah.
You cannot schedule a multimodal commute. Are these traditional apps just resting on their laurels because they have a monopoly in rural areas?
Well,
Are they inherently limited by their lack of diversification, essentially serving as a utility rather than a modern tech product?
viewing them as a mere utility is actually the key to understanding their valuation.
Okay, tell me more.
Absolute price certainty and guaranteed availability in a volatile, surge-heavy market is a premium feature.
Okay.
When you require an airport transfer at 4 a.m. from a suburban location, the novelty of booking an e-scooter is irrelevant.
Yeah, I'm not riding a scooter to the airport with my luggage.
Right. You require a legally bound professional driver who is legally mandated to charge a predictable rate.
Right.
The traditional apps survive because they offer a bedrock layer of reliable infrastructure that venture-backed platforms cannot mathematically justify supporting outside of dense, highly profitable urban cores.
Okay, let's unpack this. So what does this all mean?
Good question.
We've analyzed the operational mechanics of the heavyweights, the challengers, and the digitized traditionalists. Let's distill this into a practical playbook based on the 5 core pillars of transit decision-making.
Okay, let's do it.
First is availability. You must audit the geographic reality of your destination. Do not assume your app works outside the city center. Second is pricing. You have to choose between the fluid, demand-based pricing of Uber and Free. Now, the lower base fares of Bolt or the rigid, predictable metered fares of Taxi Deutschland. Third is safety. While baseline safety is regulated across Germany, platforms like freenow offer granular driver data and ratings prior to dispatch, adding a layer of digital transparency.
Right.
Fourth is app features. Decide if you need a specialized tool for one job or a multimodal operating system to manage your entire day's transit.
Yeah.
And fifth, payment infrastructure. Utilizing Uber for its seamless integration with U.S. banks versus utilizing Taxi EA's localized European payment gateways.
That matrix provides a highly functional guide for the consumer.
Thank you.
However, if we examine the source material closely, there is a distinct hidden layer to this guide that shifts the entire context of our analysis.
Oh man, this was the most revealing part of the entire deep dive.
It really was. When you look past the consumer advice, the document we've been analyzing isn't just an objective market overview.
No.
It is fundamentally a B2B sales pitch.
Yep.
The guide was authored and published by Enatega, a software development firm that specializes in building white-label, custom taxi booking applications.
Wow.
Their ultimate conclusion to this exhaustive market analysis is essentially, look at the billions of dollars flowing through these platforms. The market is proven. Now, hire us to build your own localized app to capture a piece of it.
It completely reframes the document. It is an incredibly detailed, highly accurate piece of content marketing designed to sell enterprise software.
And if we connect this to the bigger picture, it exposes a crucial economic reality about the mobility sector in 2026.
Okay.
Despite the massive consolidation lift buying Uber maintaining its global footprint and legacy taxi associations pooling 160,000 cars, the tech industry believes the market is far from saturated.
Oh, fascinating.
Enatega's entire business model relies on the fact that the underlying technology, the GPS dispatch, the payment gateways, the driver matching algorithms, it has become entirely commoditized.
But software isn't the moat anymore.
Precisely. Any regional taxi fleet, municipal transport authority, or niche startup can now purchase a white label app that functions exactly like Uber right off the shelf.
Oh.
Why would a local cab company in a mid-sized German city surrender 30% of their revenue to Uber's platform fees when they can pay a flat SaaS fee to Enatega, maintain total ownership of their localized data, and keep their proprietary brand equity?
Right. Why give up to 30%?
The pitch reveals that the future of mobility might not be a handful of global giants, but a highly fragmented network of hyper-local apps running on commoditized software.
That dynamic means the battle for that $3.74 billion of revenue is still in its infancy.
Oh, absolutely.
To synthesize the actionable takeaways for the listener, if you want an integrated multimodal operating system for an urban environment, freenow is the choice.
Yeah.
If you require zero-friction crossover with your American financial ecosystem, Uber is unmatched. If you are leveraging time to secure lower fares and predictability, utilize Bolt's 90-day scheduling. If you are replacing national rail travel with budget-friendly intercity networking, BlaBlaCar's subscription model is ideal.
Yeah.
And if you demand absolute price transparency and regulatory reliability in regional areas, the traditional digitized fleets of Taxi Deutschland and Taxi EU are your bedrock.
It is a meticulously structured ecosystem, but analyzing this aggressive expansion leaves us with a critical structural question to consider.
I'm ready for it. What's the thought?
Well, we noted that freenow brands itself as a multi-mobility platform.
Right.
And Bolt explicitly pursues the super app designation.
Yeah, the everything apps.
Both are aggressively absorbing alternative transit modes, scooters, rentals, public rail integrations. Add and Lyft's massive capital deployment to unify European and North American networks.
Okay.
If this trend of aggressive consolidation continues, are we accelerating toward a reality where distinct rideshare apps cease to exist?
Wow, okay.
Could we end up with one monopolistic movement app that serves as the inescapable toll booth for all physical navigation?
A movement app.
Yeah. And this raises an important question. If a single platform successfully achieves total behavioral capture, what happens to the unit economics of consumer pricing when the bedrock competition has? Those highly reliable, highly regulated traditional taxi apps are eventually starved of digital visibility and squeezed out of the ecosystem entirely.
Man, that is a complex, slightly ominous reality to ponder.
It is.
The sheer convenience of a unified super app is undeniably alluring, right up until the exact moment it becomes the only toll booth in town.
Exactly.
Thank you for joining us on this deep dive. The next time you land in a new city and pull out your phone, look past the interface. You aren't just requesting a car. You are participating in a multi-billion-dollar algorithmic battle that is actively defining the future of how humanity navigates the physical world. Keep questioning the systems you use every day, and we will see you on the next deep dive.